International students may face many difficulties during the years of university. And for you new viewers, first of all, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay. And if you do, please do subscribe. But more importantly, I was going to say that I moved from Thailand to the UK for university, which actually classifies me as an international student. But before I get into that, the goal for today's video is to build my nether portal up there a nice home. Throughout the years of university, I obviously had conversations with other international students, and I obviously watched videos where people were talking about their international student experience. And what I've gathered is the main difficulty that international students face is actually when they return home. Meaning it's not actually about the new country and the time at university. So when I say this, I mean it could be a holiday period when they went back or just after they finished their education. But as they get home, they feel like their home just doesn't feel like home anymore. The main reason people feel this way is because they feel like they've grown a lot as a person during their time at university. Pretty much to the point that they're a whole new person compared to the person that was living at that house with their family. Which I guess is understandable because for most people it's their first time ever living by themselves and getting to truly learn who they actually are. I actually need to break the portal, so I'm gonna go get my diamond pick. For most people, the years up to university, you don't have complete freedom on things that you want to do. You have restrictions on things you can do and cannot do from your parents. So when you do get the freedom, a lot of people learn what they like and what they don't like, and they just grow, you know. It's a natural thing. It makes sense. But at the same time, the country they move to also doesn't feel like home, which also makes sense because you haven't spent as much time there, so you can't really call it home just yet. So you're pretty much in this like weird middle ground where you can't call anything home, which is super sad. People feel like they don't belong anywhere, and that really sucks for them because a sense of belonging is super important on just being happy for humans. Nobody wants to feel like they don't belong where they are, so it really sucks for them. But when it comes to me, I don't relate to this at all. For me, home will always be home. I don't see the UK as my home, and I genuinely could never see it being called home for me. It's even to the point where I don't even like calling the accommodation that I live in my home. An example of this is, imagine someone texts me saying, "Let me know when you're home." My reply most of the time would be me saying something like, "I've reached my room," or, you know, "I'm back at the house." I hate using the words that I'm back home because home for me will always be where I grew up with my family at that family house. I think the main reason I feel this is because I never really went out of my comfort zone to make new friends. Well, I did in first year, but after that I kind of just gave up. I honestly just didn't want to do it anymore. And the main reason to why I didn't want to make new friends is because I was in a very lucky and fortunate situation where a lot of the people from back home also moved to the UK with me. When I say this, none of my friends and I actually moved to the same university, but we were just spread across the UK, and it was just great to know that there were other people in the same situation as me, and it was really comforting. It was just really comforting knowing that they felt exactly what I felt, and the troubles that I went through, they also went through. So you know what, it was really nice to have that. The counter argument to that is you may say that I really stunted my growth, and I think that is a fair argument to have. Don't get me wrong, I genuinely do believe I grew a lot as a person. I learned a lot of new things about myself during the years of university. But when you grow, you don't always have to completely change as a person. So that's probably why when I go back home, everything feels the same to me. I just feel like I'm an older version of myself that's just coming back home. The thing is though, some people that are close to me also feel the same way as the other international students. There's a conversation that I had with my sister recently where she was telling me how that she doesn't really know what to call home anymore. I'm supposed to place the obsidian here. I've messed this up. I have to do it again. So as I was saying, she also feels like she really grew as a person and she changed as a person. So when she goes back home, it doesn't really feel like home anymore. She obviously values the great memories that were made back in the family home, but because she moved out and she's been in America for many years now, and she's moved around America as well, so it's actually really hard for her to choose what to actually call home. You know, which sucks, but luckily for me, I don't have that problem just yet. And I do know in the future I will probably call something else home, but for now, that is not the case. Also, another reason to why people feel like this is because of the time away, they just grow apart from their friends, which makes sense. Them and their friends go down different paths, go to different countries, and just live completely different lives, so you naturally just become less close as time goes on. But for me, the time apart from my friends actually helped me grow a lot closer, which is weird if you think about it, and I think my case is an anomaly. But what I think happened is back in the day, we wouldn't really have any meaningful conversations because we would see each other every single day. But nowadays, because we don't talk as often, don't get me wrong, we still talk all the time and probably a lot more than other friend groups do. The fact that we all went to different countries and experienced different things, the fact that we always share that with each other actually has really helped us grow closer. I was already super close to these boys, but I think we've gotten closer, which is kind of crazy. And it's the same with my family. My relationship with my family had always been alright, but the time apart has really helped us get closer and the relationship's a lot better now. So when I see them nowadays, it's usually a great time. Don't get me wrong though, from high school to now, I obviously have lost a lot of friends. I wouldn't say lose, we're still friends, but my circle has just got a lot smaller. In the last year of high school, if you asked me how many close friends I had, I would probably say around like 25, which is crazy when I think about it now. 25 is an insane number for people that you're close to. I'm really liking this. This is really nice. I think I need to expand it a little bit. And if you ask me the question now, I'd probably say I have around 10 close friends, which is perfectly fine with me. When it comes to friendships, it's obviously quality over quantity, and I'm definitely not complaining about the friends that I have. I've been friends with these guys for so long and I'll always be friends with them. You may ask if I regret not really leaving my comfort zone much during university, and that's a valid question. I definitely do regret it, but at the same time I'm super grateful because I don't feel the way that the other international students feel, so it's a win-win for me. And I don't really like living with regrets, so I'm completely at peace with my decisions that I made during university. Another difficulty that international students face are just cultural changes. I'll give you an example from my personal experience. Back home in Thailand, the people are very reserved and they usually keep to themselves. When I say this, I'm talking about the local people that you see in your day-to-day basis. It would be super rare for me to walk down the street and a stranger to stop me and ask me a random question. But in the UK, it's completely opposite. I can go outside my house right now and walk down my street for a couple of minutes and I'm sure someone will walk up to me and ask me something. It could literally be anything. It could be people asking for directions, or it could just be them asking me what a nice restaurant is around here. That's very common here. I'm sure it's not as common as in America. I've heard the Americans are very friendly. In the UK, I never got complimented for like the shoes I'm wearing or anything, but people aren't scared to come up to me to ask anything. But back home in Thailand, it would be super rare for a local to do that. Usually if someone comes up to me there, it's a tourist and it's never really a local. This is also the case in like party situations. Even when alcohol is involved, Thai people are really reserved. Let's say you're at the club in Thailand, it's very rare for people to come up to you and say anything. But during my time in the UK, I could just be in the corner of a club and someone would still come up to me at some point. The way I'm saying this might really make it seem like I hate when people do that, but don't get me wrong, I do find it really cool that people are willing to come and just talk to me. I actually really like it. Oh, this is looking really nice. I actually might make this so it goes through the hill. An example of Thai people being reserved is actually some of my friends that moved from Thailand to the UK as well. Somehow all my Thai friends from back home moved to London. I made friends from different countries in Thailand and all those people are in different parts of the UK, but when it comes to the Thai people, they're actually all in London. I don't fully know what the reason behind that is, but yeah. So because they have so many friends that they already know, they never even thought to make new friends. In their eyes, they already had plenty of friends, and what even was the point of trying to go and make new friends? Which I guess is fair enough because those guys know so many people. It's actually kind of mad. Every time I go and visit them, there's like a new friend that they're showing and they're all from back home. And if I was in London, I'd probably be in the same situation realistically. Maybe not to the point how they are, but I feel like I would also just be in my comfort zone and just be comfortable with the friends that I have. I guess I did end up doing a similar thing, but at the same time I did try in first year. That also just shows how reserved they are though. Another obvious difficulty is just like missing the comfort from home, and this could be like the littlest of things. The main example that I can think of is just the food. No diss to the British cuisine, but it's nothing special compared to the Thai food back home. There are obviously Thai restaurants in the UK, but it just doesn't hit the same, I'll be completely honest with you. A big difficulty I see is the difference in humor between the different countries. Most of the time in Thailand, if you don't know the person and they're trying to tell you a joke, you would know it's a joke because it's very straightforward. You might think this is because I'm just used to the Thai humor, which makes sense. But no, just trust me on this one. You could ask people that have been to Thailand and they'll tell you the same thing. But when it comes to the UK and you're talking to someone you don't really know, they wouldn't be afraid to share their sarcastic humor. If you've ever talked to a British guy, you know that they love their sarcasm and they're not afraid to even share it with people that they don't know. And for international students that have never seen that type of humor, they may struggle to know when a British guy is joking or not. And this is definitely the case for some of my friends. When I see them talking to a British guy, I find it hilarious because they have no idea if they're joking or not. Luckily for me, I love the British humor, and this is because I grew up watching UK YouTube, like the Sidemen, Chris MD, and Eson Gibb, like just that whole scene. So growing up, I loved British humor, and when I moved to the UK and people had the same humor, I found it amazing. It was almost like it was my time to shine. Back home, I do have some friends where we do have this type of humor, but most of my friends don't. So genuinely, it was really cool to experience that. Also, obviously, there's some serious issues like racism. Luckily for me and my friends, I don't think we've ever had to deal with it, but I've read online and I've seen videos where international students face racism, and it's really sad to see. I just find it stupid that some people make fun of other people just because of how they look or just because they're from a specific place. The concept is just stupid, but the reality is people do face that, and it's really sad to see. Oh wait, I need to light this shit up. The biggest difficulty that I personally face is not getting to see my family and friends as often as I used to be able to. Obviously, before I moved, I got to see my family every single day and I got to see my friends every single day. And nowadays, I only get to see them maybe once or twice a year. The only time I can go back home are the big holidays, so like the winter break and summer. Because the UK isn't really that big, local students can just go back home and it could be like a 2-hour drive, meaning that they could go back like every single week. Those guys also don't get to see their friends and family as often as they used to, but at least they can see them, quite frequently. If it was up to me, I'd see my family and friends every single day, but it's obviously not possible. But also, as I said, luckily for me, I'm still very close to my friends and family, so I can't really complain. In the future, I would love to live back at home. When I say this, I obviously mean move out from my family's house, but just having a house back in Thailand would be amazing. And I think most of my friends and I are in agreement that we're all gonna move back at some point in our lives. And that'd be amazing because we'd be able to see each other again, and that'd be so cool. I could be living with my friends or like my future partner or anything, I just think it would be cool to go back home. The last difficulty I wanted to mention, I've already kind of mentioned it throughout the video, is international students have to move to a completely new place where they don't know anyone there. It's a completely new new environment, different type of people, you know, different weather. It's almost like you just press the button that reset your life, and it's crazy. You're pretty much flipping the page and starting a new chapter, and it obviously can be scary. It's very exciting but nerve-wracking at the exact same time. Some people really thrive in this scenario because they didn't really like their life back home, but it's obviously nerve-wracking being taken out of place and being put into the deep end of the pool. Being in a completely new place where you don't know anything or anyone is really scary, and I'm sure you can imagine why. But I'm gonna end this video by saying that I'm super grateful, and I know that I'm super fortunate for even having an opportunity to go to another country for a better education. Obviously not everyone from back home has the same opportunity as I did, so yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever had a similar experience or just any thoughts that you have on this video. If you ended up enjoying this video, please do leave a like and subscribe, and if you're still watching till now, you're definitely enjoying it, so you might as well click on the video that just popped up. Or don't, it's obviously up to you. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great night. Peace.